will get done, or?
I'm going to start recording, guys, just because I'll forget if I don't start, but I wanted to have that replay for a few people who asked if we had enough people. I wanted to do it. So, yes. When I say, what did I just say? I said
have a challenge that I wanted to work on. Yeah.
So I wanted to create a challenge in our Find Calm Here community, and I thought a vision board would be a nice way to kick that off. Robin had given some examples recently about a challenge that she participated in with another group, and she actually was able, because of the accountability of checking in, was able, and because of her proactivity and interest in wanting to complete the challenge and finish everything that she wanted to get done, she was able to progress through her steps and then have results that she was proud of. And that Robin just described that. And so I would say, is there a time that you can remember that you did that, as far as like you, either if it's a personal challenge that you created for yourself, or is it maybe it was a group challenge that you helped each other hold each other accountability? Do you remember any time like that?
Kind of. I've got a little group with Fred and another friend that we call each other once a month, and I talk to them about my writing because I'm want to start a blog. But then I don't know. I've never really done accountability apart from that. I've never really done a mastermind or been in a group to do this kind of thing. Quite often I'm like, I'll just do it on my own. But I'm trying to try the group thing.
Have you done it on your own before?
Sorry, I'm a bit like, I don't know if I've done that. I probably have, but I'm just not thinking of it right now.
No, that's okay. So what we usually try to do with vision boards is and I'm combining this with a challenge because I think it's helpful to have accountability and to follow up with people and to see where you are, because I'd like to see the vision board comes to life. That would be really cool. So what we were talking about was, and Robin was talking a little bit about words and, visuals. And so what we want to do is actually collect images and words together around goals that we would like to achieve. So if you could step into August 1st, having this done, or accomplish something or create a change in some way,
I'll choose a goal. Yeah. I'll choose a goal.
And that you can identify that with one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would set guideposts, but then you could use the vision board to kind of creatively have a visual representation of that on your, either if it's a physical vision board or if it's a desk, you could put one on your desktop if you do a digital one. So there's a couple different ways you can go about this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I did a little bit of a demo. Well, I forgot to pull it up before I told you this.
Mm-hmm.
But I just posted actually on Facebook, so I'll pull this vision board up. So on Facebook, I just posted up my vision board for 2020, and I did a yearly one, but I also do monthly ones, so that you can get kind of an example, and then maybe we can workshop your ideas about a vision board and what questions you might have.
Yeah, cool. I've done like a mind map sort of one where I wrote the next year down in the middle and then just wrote like notes on what I would love to see happen in the next year. But I can see this is a bit more creative. It's got all the pictures and things.
Yeah, so this is the vision board I created in January. And even though it's only halfway through the year, I am actually able to show you guys some things that I've already changed. So one of the things that I changed was where to go now. Well, we didn't go anywhere for a while, so I had to find ways to be creative in my own space, and maybe that meant virtually I go somewhere. And so some of those places I went to virtually was planning trips and thinking about where I want to go and how I want to get there, and planning out things. So that's kind of like what transitioned from like where I actually went physically to a virtual. but it was still transferable, right? It's still, and I'm going to be traveling in the next couple months.
Yeah,
So,
awesome.
yeah. So one of the other things was about living boundlessly, and then experiences. So living boundlessly was really representational of how I didn't want any of my own mindset to get in the way of what I wanted to do and how I wanted to create my life. And my mindset is typically what holds me back, because I have this, I can't do something, I don't know something, some kind of a boundary like that. And so I wanted to live it with that intention of like breaking my own borders, kind of a thing. And then experiences is because I wanted to have, instead of having things or buying stuff, I wanted to have more experiences this year. Last year was a lot about getting my apartment with furniture, and I had a lot of stuff that I purchased last year, for example. And this year I wanted to make it more about experiences. I didn't know they were going to be virtual experiences, and now we created virtual experiences. So you can already see that some of the words and the photographs and that I've incorporated in my vision board in January can be transferable, and actually have already, some of them have already happened. The person with the kayak, the two people holding the kayak, was about me wanting to find a relationship, a meaningful relationship. And then I ended up getting reunited with my ex-boyfriend. So those things, some of these things happened because I visualized them. I put them in photographs and words, and then I identified with those as somebody who I already am, a person already in a relationship, a person who's going to be traveling, a person who is going to live with the possibilities and look at life as a possibility versus a limitation. Mm-hmm. So with that, what I'd like to do is kind of break down what your maybe goals are, and how you would vision your vision board, or what images, and maybe like if you guys have a notepad around that you can kind of write some of the words when they pop into your head, and just write them down, as far as like Robin had mentioned a bunch of words earlier. Robin, do you have a couple words that you were thinking for your vision board specifically?
Not necessarily for the month. No, I haven't. Just mostly things that I need to change physically. Like walking is going to be, or some sort of non-regular exercise that I know, something off my routine.
Can I talk about the online yoga for a second if we're talking about routine? Do you reckon you want to do it with me online?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's really good. Time and
date? I was the one, yeah.
Well, we can make a time and day if you like, because no one else is interested in the time and day that we had in mind, which was actually this time right now.
Oh, okay.
What time and day? We can make one, or we can keep this time if you like. What do you think, Deb?
I would say let's take that in the community, and you guys can chat in the community about the time, and we'll just figure that out.
Sorry.
Just so that we can stay focused on the vision board. But Robin,
no worries.
When you're talking about vision board words, you just said a couple of words that I picked up. You said about habits, and you said about routines, and you said movement, you said activity. So all of those, you could use either pictures or words to incorporate that in your vision. And I would incorporate something like daily, or like the word daily, or if you wanted to, write, let's see. So mine, I created this like mini one, and it says, it said, I created this at a friend's house because she was having a vision board. She was having like a New Year's Day party, and one of the activities was a vision board. But this says, look twice and see the world differently. We definitely see a different world now, don't we? This was created in January. Crazy. It's like mind-blowing how vision boards can be like so transformative. So I would say some of the words that you could use could include things like that. Like maybe it's see or use action words like I am walking every day. I am participating in activities that are exciting and engaging.
So will you just do this on your computer, just Google images and then put them onto a document?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
there's two, I'm sure there's multiple ways to do this, but I typically like to have a physical thing because I have magazines that I like have all over the floor, and then I'm piecing things together, and it's this whole event for me. Not always do I have the time to do that. Oh, okay. The person who was on the call, I was asking if they could come on, and they're saying it's midnight where they are, and they're not able to come on, but that's okay. No worries.
Okay.
So if you want to do a digital one, exactly, you could Google image, and you can put any word in, and then you could put the words, or you could also switch it to the images tab, and then it comes up with images.
Yep.
A lot of those you could just pull off into a Word document or a Google Doc, something like that, and you could piece them, kind of move those pieces around and resize them to make them fit on whatever size document you have.
Okay.
Hi, Heather.
Okay, and then
I'm going to say hi to Heather real quick. Sorry. Go ahead.
of course. Hi, Heather.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. We're just looking at vision boards. I'm just asking all these questions about it.
No worries. Yeah. So what was you had one more question?
Would you print it off or just put it as your desktop screen?
Well, it's up to you. What would you do? What works better? The biggest point about vision boards is that it's visually somewhere that you will see it, because then you will subliminally see the images and the pictures and understand and have that in your mindset every day.
I think I'd need to print it off then, because I'm not going to be looking at my desktop every day.
So then that would work better for you. Some people are on their screens, or I used to do one. You know what's funny? And Jason Moore knows this. I used to have one on the back of my phone. So I had a case that was clear. And I would take one of these things, and it would be like a little tiny poster board, and I would put it on the back of my phone.
That's awesome.
And every time I had my phone on my desk, I would have it flipped back, and then I would see it.
Yeah.
And then when I was out, if I was on a plane or riding somewhere, or if I was just sitting and waiting for something, it's right there. So it's always with me, versus having it on my desktop when I don't have my computer all the time, or if it's on my wall and I'm not home a lot because I'm traveling, that wouldn't be really helpful. But that's another option, is to have it as a physical thing that you take with you. Some people do that, or put it on as your screensaver.
Yeah. Good idea.
Screensaver, that if you're doing a digital one or something. So those are all kinds of ideas, but the biggest point is that you want it to be in front of your face and what your eyeballs are on it, so that way you can see and think about whatever you're trying to create.
And it's the subconscious, because you're visually seeing it all the time. Your subconscious mind's taking it on.
And then you're thinking about it and saying, well, what did I do today to get me closer to this? And then you're kind of holding yourself accountable. When you're talking earlier about self accountability, then you created the vision board. You spent the time to put these images and words together. This is what you want to achieve. So it's kind of when you're seeing it all the time, you're reminding yourself, hey, I told myself I wanted this. Now, how can I get closer to this? And then what I've found is organically things come when you take a little action, and then a little bit more action, and a little bit more action, and you have interactions with other people that have the same similar focus or interests, because you put yourself out into those communities or groups. And then that's how you create your change. That's how I created change in traveling and joining Location Indie and moving around, doing a bunch of things, going hiking, going skydiving. Those are scary things that I challenged myself to last year. So
Yeah.
what is
Awesome.
do you have a goal that you can think of off the top?
I think I do, just off the top of my head. I've been wanting to get more online, like an online projects, and there's this YouTube thing I want to do. I sing as a hobby, and I have a history of childcare. Like I used to, and so I want to sing. I've got this idea in my head, and I've been working on it, but I want my goal to be that I actually put it together enough to actually share it and actually put it on YouTube. I want to make these little like videos of nursery rhymes. And at this stage, it's nursery rhymes, but I have a feeling that if I get going on it, I'll do some other things with it as well. And I just thought that might look really nice as a vision board, and it'll sort of just remind me and get me to, yeah. So I think I'll choose that as a goal for July. That'd be really good. So even if I just share 1 or 2 by the end of July, I'll be really happy.
That's what
with
I would
that.
say. Keep it simple and keep it attainable. So like 1, just if you've, is this something you've never done before?
No, I've been chipping away at it. And I have a singing lesson every fortnight, and I've been so for a couple of years I just did singing just to sort of learn how to sing, but then I just this year was like, I need to actually turn this into a project, because I'm all about little projects and things. So I've got 2 videos that I have made that I haven't shared, and I need to make maybe a couple more and just play with it a bit more and work out a few details, and then I need to actually share a couple. So I'm sort of, let's say I'm halfway there. Yeah, if that makes any sense.
Clarity, when we're creating goals, we want to have them be SMARTY goals, right? So when you're talking about, you said a couple different things. So I would say if you're going to make one video public, that could be a goal. Or if the goal is to get clear on the structure of the video or the content, you can write out a outline of the content, or get ideas around by journaling as far as exactly the storyline, plot, or or whatever the information that you're going to provide, as well as any music around that or something like that. Then you'd like get clear on those things. I'm going to use this, music. I'm going to write about this topic. This is what I want to share. This is when I want to release it. This is what platform am I going to use? Why do I want to use that platform? What's important about that? So these are all kind of like work through questions that you can kind of workshop it in a way where it cuts it down. I was talking to Sandy about this yesterday because she wants to do more YouTube stuff. And I said, well, if you put it into bite-sized chunks, where it's more manageable, and then you're saying, okay, like Tuesday and Thursday for 15 or 30 minutes, I'm going to work on this to get myself a little closer. That's probably going to be a lot more attainable for you. And then you'll get closer to your goals when you keep them kind of easy, but like little bite-sized chunks.
Yep.
That way, and then when you're talking about the vision board, you can use pictures that relate to all of these topics, and like what you or maybe use like a picture of you. You can use your actual picture of you, maybe singing. Maybe you have a picture. Maybe you could just have somebody that's around you take a picture of you and singing.
That's a really good idea, because there's definitely some stuff coming up about like I'm embarrassed and that kind of thing, and I'm shy because I've never really done this kind of thing before, but I think it would be fun if I just get over that. So maybe a picture of me would be good, because I need to get used to that idea of watching myself do it.
Yeah. Or maybe you do some videos of yourself like singing, and then you send it to somebody. Like just send it to a couple people instead of like the whole universe of internet. You just send it to a couple people, or you post it just you could post it in the Find Calm Here community and share it there, because you know that you'll be supported there with whatever you're trying to work on.
That's a good idea. Do you reckon I can do that?
Yeah. And then that'll get you a little bit closer to, right? It's not the whole world. It's not my debut on internet, but it's like a little step closer to that. There's ways to create private links too, so that only the people you share the link with can see it.
I've got I've got 2 up there as private links to show my singing teacher, but I haven't.
There you go.
Yeah, I can do that.
Awesome. So I like, there's some goals and there's some vision board ideas for Maria coming. Heather, what do you got going on?
Well, so, so much for all those bite-sized pieces, but I guess my goal for this month is massively huge. And I don't know if you've heard this yet, but I'm trying to get rid of all my stuff and have only what I can fit in my car.
What?
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm gonna move to San Diego like at the end of this month, beginning of August. So it's all got to fit in my car.
Okay.
So, it's an insane goal, and there's no bite-sized pieces about it, but it's got to happen. So that's
There are bite-sized pieces about it, because it's not all going to happen in one day.
That's true.
And it's not all going to happen at once. You can't, unless you've got the genie that snaps the fingers and makes all of it happen. If you have her, let me know.
Yeah, of course.
But you can still, it's an amazing goal, by the way. That's inspiring, just to want to do that. And San Diego, where it's sunny and lovely out there and beaches, and it's so much excitingness to look forward to. So visually, I'm already seeing on your vision board, pictures of palm trees and a little car, like like moving like your suitcase or something. So visually, I'm already like seeing a bunch of stuff for you. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Like, how could you set a goal and maybe incorporate that goal into your vision board?
Well, I've never done a vision board before, and so I was actually kind of sitting here like, I'm not really sure, like, what to do. But then all your ideas are fantastic. I never even thought about kind of not looking at it as the task that I have to do, but what that end goal is and where I'm gonna go with it. So yeah, palm trees, little suitcases, my little tiny car. Yeah, that sounds great.
But also, incorporating words like fearless and adventurous and travel seeker, or I don't know, I'm blanking on some other stuff, but like incorporating these words around support and strength, that A, this is attainable, and B, it's exciting, and C, it's also going to be scary, and there's going to be moments of fear and, like, oh my, am I really doing this kind of thing? And it's going to feel overwhelming and daunting, I think, when you're talking about getting rid of a lot. I don't know, if you have a house, an apartment, if you have a lot of things, that takes a lot of skill and time and organization to kind of weed out exactly what you want, unless you're just going to throw everything in a dumpster and like put 3 suitcases in your car.
I thought about it, but no. And like, I have this whole collection that my family bought me of like Barbies. They collected them ever since I was a kid. And so like, that's like a huge thing that I have to get rid of. And of course, I'm not just going to be like tossing these Barbies. I'm at least going to try and, sell them or see how many I can sell.
I remember this came up on the minimalism talk.
Yeah. Well, they're still out there. But what's nice is my mom just moved out of the house the other day, so her bedroom's empty. So I've been taking all the stuff that I'm getting rid of and kind of just like putting it in that empty bedroom, so I can at least actually see like, oh, this is all the things I still have to do. And like, because like when it's just scattered about the house, I think, oh, I don't have too much to do, or there's not that much stuff for me to sell. So it's kind of nice to have that little space so I can see it all in one place.
Yeah, and that's like a staging area, right? And you could also set, what I have is a whiteboard, and I have my to-dos on a whiteboard. Sometimes I'm such a visual person that helps me and reminds me of things I want to do for the day or the week. So you could have like, organize Barbies on Tuesday or something, like whatever your thing is. And then that way you have a plan for like a specific object, so that you know I'm going to make a decision about this object, if it's coming or if it's going or if I'm selling it or if I'm giving it away. You can prioritize in that way. And
Yeah.
so I would say that's something. Oh, and when we're talking about vision boards, it's about envisioning who you want to become by seeing yourself as that person already. So I would also, as in, like I was just talking with Maria, you could have a picture of yourself and like standing on a beach, whether you've been to a beach, or you could just copy and paste yourself onto a beach if you don't have a picture of you on a beach, or something like that, to keep in mind of, this is the person I'm going to be in a month from now, and it's amazing. You know, or whatever that time is. I forget what you said. Did you say a month?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the person I'm going to be in a month. This is how I'm going to get here. And this is also, you could journal a little bit to get a little bit more clarity. So typically what I do is do a little journaling to pull out those words. And actually I was thinking about this today, and then like circling, this is my journal that I've been using, my like food log, but like circling words that kind of pop out. And then from that list is how I find the images or the words for the vision board.
Okay.
So that might help if you're like struggling on like what pictures or words specifically that are going to be impactful or powerful for you. That would be how I would start, is just like writing out, okay, these are the tasks I have to do, or this is what I want to see, or these are the changes I'm going to make. And then like find what words you're using to describe that. Like, you're excited about change, you're scared about, you know, moving across the country. Those are big steps that you're taking. But what the other thing that we started in the beginning with this call about was, have you done something like this before? Maybe not on this scale, but what is a challenge that you've done successfully before? I'm sure there's at least one thing.
Well, I mean, I was stationed in San Diego for over 4 years. So San Diego is like home, and I've driven across the country like 4 or 5 times now. So the actual like getting in the car and going, yeah, that's not too scary for me. It's just the getting rid of more stuff. Because I mean, I have gotten rid of a lot of my stuff, but there's still, you know, things that like my mom held on to and whatnot. And so that's kind of what I'm like working on now. So things that are like, you know, memories or something from my childhood. But I've kind of gotten, because, you know, I've kind of gotten to the point where like, if it's something that I think is like kind of sweet and I would like to keep it, but it doesn't really have a purpose, I'll usually just like maybe like snap a picture of it and then, you know, just like upload it on my computer, and then so I can like look at it and appreciate it in that way if I ever do. And then, you know, let go of the actual item.
That's a great tip. A lot of those things we learned with the minimalist chat, when Adrian was talking to us about minimalism. And I know there's a couple books that mention that too, and just having that disassociation with the actual physical thing, but taking a picture to be able to like say, oh, I recall a memory. Because a lot of what we do is what we keep things around for is because they remind us of a time, right? So I love that idea. One thing I would say you could do is, in the Find Calm Here community, you could post and see if anybody else wants to do a minge challenge. So a minge challenge, for you guys, if you weren't on that call, is where it's a minimalism game where each person who participates is asked to get rid of one thing for each day of the month, but it accrues to the date. So like day 1, you get rid of 1 thing. Day 2, you get rid of 2 things. Day 3, you get rid of 3 things. Day 4, you get rid of 4 things. So it adds up to like a couple hundred items. I think it's like 400 or 500 items by the end of the month. And you're getting rid of things that you don't use or that don't bring you joy. So if it's something you're using every day, well then don't get rid of that, right? But if it's something that you're not using and that you really are holding on to it because somebody else might need it, maybe you could just give it to them and give it back to them. Or if that person isn't here anymore, like it was a past relative, you could, you know, talk about donating it or giving it to a family member. Like all of those kinds of, there's workarounds, but I would say you could try to see, I know Adrian was talking about maybe starting another men's challenge. So maybe you and Adrian can like work together and see if anybody, I know there was a couple people in the Find Calm Here community that actually were talking about wanting to eliminate things like physical things from their life. I think Carolyn was talking about that. Robin, I don't know if you were talking about that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So you already have like 2-3 people that would be participating in the challenge with you and supporting you in there with the getting rid of stuff. If that's your biggest, like most like recent for this month, if that's the thing that's like coming up and maybe creating anxiety, you know, we can help support you around that in the community.
Perfect.
Yay! See, look at this. I want to circle back to Robin because Robin and I were talking in the beginning of the call, and then we're going to end in a few minutes with any questions that you guys have. But Robin, as we were talking, did you find some words or things that you could use, words or visuals, and thinking about a specific goal?
Yes. So you mean putting me on the hot spot? Yes. So I've got movement activity daily and weekly. So my goal is going to be to do some kind of movement every day. And I've got 4 different things I can do. I'm going to either walk, go biking, swimming, or kayaking. And then every week I hope to climb a hill or a mountain. They call them mountains up here, but they're not that big. And do that weekly and try to get more recreating time that's like good for my mind. And in fact, yesterday I had started coloring again, which I hadn't done that in a while. And the picture I picked out was butterflies. And I don't know if there was a post, I think, with Carolyn Boyce. And I'm like this year, like I keep seeing these butterflies everywhere. They like fly right in front of my face and these weird, you know, different little things. I'm just going to be more mindful of that. And yeah, and I am, and I will.
Yes.
Do something. You know,
using action words and saying it like it's already so is exactly the biggest thing to make a change. So which one of you guys, like Robin, are you going to do a physical one or a digital one? What are your thoughts?
My thought is, so I have this chalkboard that is right by my door, and I use it because I'll do winter, spring, summer, and fall, but it's more like a memory board, like when I'm feeling like I feel like I haven't done anything this month, and I remember, oh yeah, you know, I went to Canada or I did this and that. So I make this. It's with colored chalk, and I usually take a picture every season at the end, and then I erase it, and I'm like, okay, for the summer, and then I write things down that I did. And so it's not a vision board, it's more like a memory board, but maybe I'll use that as my vision board for the month.
Okay. There's a couple different options. You could get like a poster board. I actually just got a square pin up, like a pin board, but like because I have a bunch of pins. I was using glue but I wanted to try to eliminate this paper that I'm creating by every time getting poster board and the glue, and it gets sticky and it's messy. Yeah. So I'm going to try to do a pin one. So I'm going to like cut images out of magazines and words out of magazines, and then I'm going to put it together and see how the pin board works. We'll see. That's a new thing for me, because usually I either in May, I did not do one in June, but in May I did a digital one, and then before that I've been doing poster board ones, and then I've been putting them on my refrigerator. So the location, I have one that I did in January that's at my door, and then I had one that's in my refrigerator for like the monthly one. So those were the locations, but I was also home all the time, and I had mentioned I did like a small on my back of my cell phone one when I was traveling last year a lot, so that I brought it with me all the time. So however that looks like and works for you guys, think is the best. Does anybody have questions or like, any ideas or anything else you wanted to share? Either anybody, Maria, Heather?
I might do a digital one and then I'll print it off, I think. And I just wanted to say, like, is this call, are you doing it once a month, or what's sort of the idea with this call? Are we going to talk about it again, or should I just go ahead and do my own vision board and just work on it? Or
You can, well, this is one thing I will say is this coming weekend, it would be good to try to set aside some time to put your vision board together so that you have it for the rest of the month, since we're doing a July focus for the month of July. So I would try to like book it in the next few days if you can, possibly.
Share it in the community. Share it
And
somehow.
we could all post our vision boards in the community. I love that. I will definitely do that. I'm going to work on mine tomorrow, or actually on Friday. As far as having more events like this, if there's interest, I'm happy to host a monthly vision board workshop where we kind of workshop like we just did your ideas, try to get some ideas as to how you would create the vision board so that you can then take action in your own time and space, and however you want to do that. But that way you have something. It's nice to do it on a monthly basis just because then you're always resetting and kind of being more aware. If you do one once a year, it can be kind of hard to like keep that in the forefront of your mind all the time, because you might lose track of the goals, or they might change. Something might change in your life in a year. Obviously, in 6 months, lots changed for us. So that vision board could change, and so your focus might change with it. So we'll talk about it in the community. And
The old one every month.
what?
And a new.
You were cutting out a little bit.
Good.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Do you throw the old one away every month and start a new one?
Good question.
Put it aside kind of thing and start a new one.
It depends on how much I like it.
Okay.
Sometimes my vision boards are kind of funky and they work for the purpose, but then I'm not really a fan of keeping them. Other ones, like I have my April one that's still on my refrigerator. I just haven't moved it yet. And I have my yearly one up all the time. So I guess it just depends. You can keep them if you don't have space, or if, you know, like Heather throwing everything in a cart a month, you're probably not going to keep every vision board with you. That might be something that you want to let go. But if it's helpful to you to look back at the previous months and see what you did the last month, because I think my vision boards have improved significantly because I've been doing them consistently for like almost 2 years. So there's only been a few months that I've missed out of that time period.
Cool.
So we're going to have to go because we actually have another call with the FindCalm Here community. It's FindCalm with podcasts. I know that 2 hours is a lot. If you guys are willing and want to get on that call, you are amazing superstars. I just wanted to get this call in on the beginning of the month because I thought it was so important to start on the very first day with some accountability and action items and talking about all these topics. So with that, I am going to end the call, but I want to say, and I don't know how to say your name. It looks like EI, but, and I'm sorry, I don't know how to say it correctly, but she was just saying in this chat bar that it's actually awesome to have accountability partners. I use sticky notes a lot. It's amazing how I wrote 15-chapter book in 3 weeks. That's impressive. That's amazing. So much with writing down. You never can go wrong. I agree 120%. I think that the way I've gotten clarity and made decisions and took action was because I wrote it out and I told people about it. I said to people, I'm doing this. And then guess what? If you aren't doing those things, people are going to call you out on it. They're going to be like, Sadeb, I thought you were going to go walking every day. What happened to that? Then I'm going to feel like crap because I already said I was going to walk, and it's not like somebody else said, Deb, you have to walk. I chose to set my goal. And then it's kind of like, why am I not doing it? And then that's another conversation about saying what's in your way. But yeah, accountability and journaling are really great tools to get you moving in a forward motion. We are also connecting in the FindCalm Here community. If you want to learn more about that, I can send you a message. You connected with me on LinkedIn. So Yota, I'm still not sure how to pronounce your name, but I will connect with you back in the LinkedIn message after this call. So thank you guys so much for being here on the Vision Board Workshop. I'm so glad you showed up because I was feeling a little lonely in the very beginning. And I will see you guys later.
Bye.